Hello and welcome to Wisdom Bites. Hope you're well. Thank you once again for joining us. Very much appreciated. And in today's packed program, I'm going to be going through, as per the title of the video, the indicator that's never been wrong over the last 13 years, which is just flashing a particular signal that we all need to pay attention to. I'm also going to go through the 60-day cycle to show us exactly where we've got to and where we're heading over the short term and the medium term. I'll also share with you my strategy, which I've been sharing with you over the last 12 months to see exactly how I'm playing this going forward. So if that sounds interesting, then without further ado, get yourself a cup of tea, sit yourself down, eyes on the screen, and let's get cracking. But before I begin, the usual polite reminder, please remember everything in my videos is just for educational purposes. So please always do your wider research before you make any investment decisions or any swing trade decisions. The indicator that I'm referring to is something that I showed you just a few weeks ago on the daily chart, that on the daily chart we just got the signal that we seem to be moving into the next phase of this bull market. But I said at the time that we need to wait for the weekly chart on the Gaussian channel to confirm once again the moving into the next phase. And what we've now got, if you have a look here with the Gaussian channel, this is the indicator that as we go back to the 13 years, what we always get is the same pattern repeating over and over again. So when we came to the first peak over here back in 2011 and the price moved down, we were still in the green part of this Gaussian channel. And then we moved from the green into the red, after which the price goes above the Gaussian channel here, finds support on it, and then goes on a direction all the way to the top of that 4-year cycle, which was here in 2013. So that's the pattern. We get to a peak, we have a bear market, we move into the red channel, the price moves above the Gaussian channel, and that begins the next phase of the bull market all the way to the end, resulting in a blow off top. So if we have a look at the second cycle over here, once again, having topped out in 2013, we came into this bear market, still in the green channel, moved into the red channel here, and then the price moved above the Gaussian channel, found support, and then we went on to the next phase right to the end of that cycle in 2017. And in the last cycle that we had, from 2017 to 2021, exactly the same thing here. We came to the top in 2017, had the bear market, went into the red channel, the price moved above the red channel here, found support, and then we moved all the way back to the top in April 2021 and a double top in November 2021. And we really have to ignore this COVID situation here. And what we've got now in the current cycle that we're in, the flashing of the signal having topped out in November 21, we came down into this bear market, we went into this red channel over here, and as you can see, the price moved above the red channel, and we've now come back and found a support back on the Gaussian channel. But this is what we need to be paying attention to. We are now moving from the red channel to the green channel here. That's just flashed over the last week. And I mentioned this in the Bitcoin Miners Club on Wednesday. So when we have a look at the overall picture over the last 13 years, you can see quite clearly it's the same pattern that seems to be repeating over and over again over that last 13 years. We're going to the green channel, red channel, then once we get into the green channel one more time, the price goes to a blow off top around about a year and a half, 2 years later. Same thing here, green channel, red channel, green channel, and then we go off to the races. Green channel, red channel, green channel, off to the races. Green channel, red channel, and now we're in the green channel one more time here. What I want to show you is actually the technical pricing models, which give us an indicator of exactly what happens when the actual price goes into these zones here as well. We're looking at really the volatility crush that we've got currently going. So if you just scroll down here, just an overall picture of what Bitcoin has been doing over the many years. And what you see here is that in times of the green channels here, this is when the prices are rising. And in the white parts in between, over here and here, etc., what you see are falls. So in this white patch here, you can see the fall here. This white patch, you can see the falls here. And this is the bear market. The bigger white patches are the bear markets and the falls that you get in between those rallies. So obviously this is the first bear market going back to 2014. This is the second bear market going back to 2018-19. And then this is the last bear market that we got in 2022. So what you've now got is that currently we're really in this green patch down here. So this chart would be telling us that we are still in these green phases where the market is expected to rise. And this is exactly what our narrative has to be based on the historical perspective in the chart here. So looking at the 60-day cycle, what we really have here is that the volatility is at absolute record lows. Therefore, a highly significant move can be expected. And my narrative, from what I can see in the charts, and of course I can be wrong because the market doesn't behave in definites or guarantees or certainties, it moves in probabilities. And my case is that 80% the market is more likely to move to the upside. However, we have to obviously protect our downside, which I'm thinking is about 20%. And as we know with Bitcoin, it has a habit of doing unexpected things. And currently we're on day 60 of the 60-day cycle. So we're now right in the thick of it here, waiting for a resolution. So what we can see in the 60-day cycle so far is that there is no real obvious bottoming out process that's happened here. Yes, we may get this or even this as the 60-day cycle. So we'll need to have a look at exactly how the price behaves past this 60-day cycle to know exactly which of these 2 points could possibly be a 60-day cycle. However, it's not really a clean 60-day cycle bottom, because what you would expect, just like over here, a fall into the 60-day cycle, and over here, a fall into the 60-day cycle, etc. So far, there isn't really a clean 60-day cycle break where we can say that, yes, we're really into the new cycle now. And the bullish case is really that we haven't really dropped that much into the 60-day cycle. And it's had many chances down here to come back down much further, and it hasn't taken it yet anyway. But this could also mean that there is a flash crash coming around the corner as well. And if we put on the Bollinger Bands, you can see quite clearly that the Bollinger Bands are squeezing very, very tightly here. It's the tightest we've had since going back all the way to the bottom of the bear market here, when we had this massive move to the upside. So just like over here, many people are expecting the market to fall down. We were all expecting down here for the market to fall much further. But as I mentioned at that time, all the indicators were that we had bottomed out at the 15,400 level, and that the chances are, based on the historical perspective, that the Bitcoin price was now going to go into the bull phase of the market. So only time will tell what's going to happen here, but certainly the Bollinger Bands would indicate a massive move very shortly. And if you look at this Bollinger Band on the weekly chart, once again the Bollinger Bands are squeezing together very, very tightly here, suggesting a massive move very shortly. And as you can see, if you follow the Bollinger Bands, this hasn't happened for a very long time. And the nearest I can think of is back here in 2016, when once again the move was to the upside. The bearish case that I can see here is that when we topped out at the 69,000 and came down to the 15,400, what we've done is we've come to the 50% Fibonacci retracement here. And it may well be that we now roll down, which would be, if you take it from the 15,400 all the way up to the 31.5, that would give us a 61.8% correction all the way down to these levels here at 20,000. So this is where you would see a correction all the way down to the 20,000 to retest the previous all-time high over here. So this is where it would look like a natural place if this is going to be the bearish case here. And then that would follow a turnaround and creating this double bottom before we go back into the bull market. So that's the bearish case I can see, that we may well have topped out at the 31.5 and now going to go into a 61.8. This is not what I'm expecting. Like I said, this is the 20% case for me, because my expectation still is that we've got another further leg up based on the narrative that I've been giving you over the last many, many months now, which we'll have a look at in a second. But this is the bearish case, a double bottom on the 61.8% retracement before we go back into the next leg of the bull market. But as I've been saying over the last many months, this is where I'm expecting the next leg of the bull market to come and top out before we have that double bottom pattern over here. And the price I would expect from those levels of around about 45, 50,000 would be on a 61.8 basis. If we did go up to about, let's say 48,000, that would give us a retracement down to the 23, maybe 24,000 down here before we have this double bottom and we continue with our bull market. So that's the 80% case, and I'll give you some of the other reasons why I'm still thinking in that narrative. Okay, so one of my first main reasons why I'm thinking that 80% of the probability is to the upside over here. So looking at the historical perspective, when we topped out at the end of the first 4-year cycle here in 2013, then the first peak, having bottomed out, was to the red line here. And in the second cycle, once again, we'd topped out at the red line down here. And even going further back, we'd topped out here on the red line. So in the last 4 periods where we've had a peak and a fall in terms of a bear market, the price has always come up to the red line, which is a pi cycle top. And currently, we have not come up to the red line yet. So based on the historical perspective, you would expect the price of Bitcoin to continue with that same pattern before it tops out. And currently we're around about $10,000, $15,000 away from there. The next reason why I'm thinking that this is an 80% move to the upside coming up shortly is that if you look at the monthly chart, on the 8 EMA, the blue average line weaving its way through the price action over the last 13 years, we see a very clear pattern here that once you top out, then what happens is in the bear market we fall below the blue line, but once we recapture it, that's the signal for the market to go all the way back to the top for the end of the cycle here. Similarly, in the second cycle, we moved below the blue line here. Once we've made our way back above the blue line, then this is the catalyst for the next move to the top side here. Similarly, in the 2019 cycle here, once we'd moved above it, then that was a catalyst to move all the way back to the double top that we had here, ignoring the COVID situation down at this point. So currently, once again, we fell below the blue line and we've already captured it over the last few months. So if the historical perspective is to be believed, we're not going to fall below the blue line here. If we move on to the 3 monthly chart, very significantly, once we'd bottomed out at the 15,400, we've got this big green candle followed by a bull flag here. So on the larger time frames, you'll see that it's giving us the impression anyway that the move is a continuation pattern to the upside. Similarly, for the monthly chart, once again, 15,400 bottom, big Marubozu candle, and a bull flag here. Interestingly, if we look at the 60-day cycle and we look at the Bressart cycles indicator, which is this one here, when we bottomed out, we were coming up to just above the green line over here before we had this big massive move to the upside. And currently, where we are now, we're doing exactly the same thing. I'm not saying that's going to repeat, but certainly that is a distinct probability that we may well end up going up much, much higher over here, as per what's happened in the past in January. So historically, what we're really saying is that big moves occur at those low volatility points that we've got currently. And overall, I would say that I would expect a move to the upside, but obviously we need to be aware of the downside risk and be ready to respond accordingly. And my downside risk would be at the 25,200 level. So what we've really got is an inverse head and shoulders that we've been showing for a long, long time. We've gone above the 25,200, and that's why it's created a very strong neckline, because not have we only just broken above it back in March 2023, well, we came back and found very strong support over here. And from there, we've bounced all the way back, and it wouldn't make sense from a charting point of view for it to come and break this level here. Yes, it can find a double support line here, but I would be very surprised if it breaks down here. And if it does, then we're looking at a completely different narrative to what we've had so far all the way up here. And that's why we need to be aware of this neckline, because once it goes below that point, then we're looking at really a completely different scenario where we're going to end up elongating the bull market by 6, maybe 9 months, even 1 year. And like I said, I'm not expecting that, but it's something that we need to be aware of. And the main thing here, as I mentioned many times before, is patience. And what I've been noticing is that a lot of people watching a lot of other YouTube channels, a lot of people seem to be losing patience. And this is what Bitcoin does. It grinds you down, and it's really trying to give you a bearish perspective so you get shaken out of the market before it has a big move to the upside. So going on the strategy side, as I've been sharing my strategy with you all the way down here and down here and up here, my current thinking is that having bought about 75% of our long-term portfolio here and topped up at the 15,400 level, and please remember, I don't have Bitcoins, I have Bitcoin miners, and they're my biggest play, and I'll show you exactly why. But having bought into the long-term positions at these 2 points, and as I've mentioned many times all the way through since the last 8-9 months, that I've just kept hold of these investments all the way up here. So I've not been shaken out, and I've been warning everybody not to be shaken out, because it's a very easy thing to do, because the market is designed to shake you out, that once you have a big move up, it shakes you out with all these big moves to the downside. Currently, this is exactly what the Bitcoin price is trying to do, to shake out the weak hands before it moves to the upside. So as per what's happened over here and over here, I'm still carrying all my investments all the way here, so that I'm now positioning myself to take advantage of a move to the upside. But obviously we have to look at the downside, and as I mentioned, 25.2 is really my critical level. Should we break that, then to me, then there's something completely different happening in the charts which I'm not aware of, and at which point I would have to protect the downside. Because if we do break the 25.2, then there is a danger that we come all the way down to this level here at around 20,000 and even further to retest the 15,400. And as I've said, I'm not expecting that. 80%, I'm expecting the market to go to the upside. And based on that narrative, as well as the 60-day cycle, as I said, we're coming to the 60-day cycle low here. As I mentioned, we're now needing a resolution of the 60-day cycle. So in last week's members video for the Bitcoin miners, I've given a list of the 7 stocks which I think, out of the 20 odd stocks for the Bitcoin miners, which I think are going to do really well over the next 2 months. Those will be forming the 3rd round of the Bitcoin miners swing trades that we started back in March this year. So the first round of the trades, which were in March 2023, those resulted in these increases over here. And in the second round of the trades, which we began a few months ago, back in June, July, we did even better with these results here. So currently, last Wednesday, I've given the 3rd round, and since the market has been down, it's still giving us an incredible opportunity to get in. So I've given exact entry, exit, and the stop losses for the current round of the Bitcoin miners swing trades. And if you want to join us there, every Wednesday we do a video which covers the Bitcoin miners, and there's about 20 of them, but we focus mostly on the ones that have the best long-term play and the short swing trade plays that we mention every Wednesday. So to join us there, all you have to do is to click the join button here, and currently the price is at $4.99, and that will give you an insight into exactly what we do with all the previous trades as well as all the previous videos that we've done. And just by looking at the long-term plays which I went through last week, just an investment in that could give you 10, 15, 20x over the next 2.5 years. So at the current price of $4.99, you can have an insight into all of that. You'll have a full access to all the library and all the swing trades in the past, because from the 1st of September, the price will rise for everybody to $22.99. And as I mentioned many times, for me, it's the greatest opportunity of a lifetime. And it's a case of if you want to join us there and benefit from that opportunity. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Hope you found value in the video. If you did, then please remember to like and to subscribe and to turn on the notification bell. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.